that's on. No, no se hizo on.
Okay, ¿está bien?
Live.
Okay, live now.
3.
Hello, friends. Welcome to our show number 4, right? Yay!
Yay! Number 4.
We made it. Okay. So we had Charles that was going to be here for the insurance. He's caught in traffic and he's not going to be on time. But since Jaime here used to do insurance, so we're going to have him start answering the questions that we were going to go over with Charles. And then when Charles gets here, he'll just join us. Okay? Jaime, it's a realtor here at Cobo Banker, and he is part of my team. Welcome, Jaime. Thank you for doing this. And you did insurances for how long?
I did insurance. Actually, I'm still active with my insurance license with Farmers Insurance. You know, so I still get, every once in a while, I just refer my clients to my friend Caesar in La Mesa. But I still get, I got a lot of information of insurance. And when you sell insurance, you have to learn about insurance, you know, coverages and what does or what doesn't cover insurance. So I think I've been trained enough.
You know enough.
I know enough to actually help my clients too with that, with those questions too.
Perfect. Well, I'm going to ask you guys for a favor. If you could please make a comment if you're watching the show live, so that way you'll participate on the raffle. And also if you can share this video right now to your page, the live video from Good Day Chula Vista. If you can share it, that way your friends can see it and join us live. If they have a question or they make a comment, they'll participate on the raffle. We're going to be raffling off gift cards at the end of the show. Okay, so please, if you have any questions regarding your insurance or things that have happened with your policy, you can make sure ask the question on the comments, and we'll go over those questions as we receive them. Okay, so thank you, beautiful. So it's already shared? Yes. Okay, perfect. Okay, so the reason I wanted to talk about insurances, Jaime, is because as a realtor and as a homeowner, there's so many things that we don't know about insurance because that's not what we do. And this is the first time that I own a house that has a swimming pool. Before that, I always had a community pool. So when I had my insurance for my house, obviously I got the basic policy, so my loan could go through. And I thought that was enough. But then somebody else wanted to sell me a better insurance, and she went over with me with the policy, and she told me, your house is not insured for earthquakes. So if something happens to your swimming pool because of an earthquake, it's not covered. So that was like my first eye opener. I'm like, oh my God, let's go over my policy. What else do I not know? So I'll ask you a few questions and then you tell me what you think. Okay? So I guess one of the things is, so most policies, they don't include earthquake insurance, even though we live in an earthquake.
Earthquake, California, yes.
Right?
That's correct. So actually that's correct. Actually, insurances don't cover earthquake insurance. Earthquake. So in other words, you have to have.
So it's a different policy?
It's actually, you can, with the insurance industry, they have made it pretty easy for homeowners to get earthquake insurance through your own insurance. Because
it's really cheap. Like I think it was only like $30 more
a month. Correct.
Right.
So you get a little, and the only thing you have to do is to talk to your insurance agent and say, hey, listen, I want to have earthquake insurance.
As well.
So then California provides like they have these great deals, you know, with the insurance industry, and they have them so they can write it as an extra peril, they call it, basically as a coverage that you're going to be covered for earthquake insurance.
Right.
So you got your basic coverage, and then you get insurance.
Yeah.
You get earthquake insurance. I'm sorry.
So you might not even know that you don't have earthquake coverage on your policy, and you're thinking, hey, I'm insured, everything is fine, we live in California, everybody knows, you know, we're waiting for a big earthquake, and we get them all the time. They're usually very small, but things could happen in those during those earthquakes. So I think make sure that you know what you're covered for, and just know that earthquake is not a basic. You have to get an additional coverage to get that. Now, one of the other things that I wanted to go over is what other things we might not know that are not covered. For example, one of the things also was when I had my insurance, this lady said, well, you're covered the amount that you're covered for if any accident that happened in your house, you know, like you said, any visitor that visits my house and has an accident, and me having the swimming pool, and we have the kids, the neighbors come here with the kids and stuff, and if an accident happens and I get sued, there was no coverage, hardly any money. I think it was like $1,500. What is that going to cover? Not even the ambulance to the to the hospital.
The hospital, yes.
So she makes sure that I had a bigger coverage for liability for accidents.
Correct.
Due to the having the swimming pool and having parties at the house, or my friends bring their friends over, you know, things like that. And if I don't have them sign a waiver for liability, they can sue me, and I want to make sure that I'm insured. And so I know a lot of my clients have properties that have a swimming pool, so you want to make sure that they have that extra, right?
Yeah, absolutely. One of the biggest things about insurance is most people, they want to pay less and they want to have big coverage. And sometimes, you know, the thing about it is like sometimes it's just reviewing the insurance policy with your agent. Yeah. Sit down, like farmers, they have what they said, you know, you can go and sit down with your agent and talk to him about it or her about it, and then go over about what coverages do you have
and how much.
Yeah. And not only that, you know, as a person, as you acquire properties, as you start paying off some of those properties and you start increasing your network,
right,
you know, you need better coverage. Because actually one of my clients that in real estate, he's been personal sued. He has several properties and all the properties are paid, and even he's getting sued through his business. Even the business is not even, it's under a corporation.
And they're still suing him. So you want to make sure you have. So I think it's important that we go over the policy with our agent to make sure that we are covered. Because sometimes you're covered, but just like I said, I was covered for accidents, but $1,500
doesn't cover anything. Yes.
Exactly.
Yes. So you need to make sure that you have enough coverage for at least even the fact that somebody comes to work at your house. Let's say you get your house painted and somebody comes into your house and fell off the ladder or something.
Right, yeah.
So you got to have some kind of coverage for that. Yeah. So
and you know what? That part of the insurance, when she priced it for me, there was not a difference in price. Just to have the extra $25,000 per accident, it was not even an increase on the policy. It was just like selecting that, which I was like, oh wow. When I bought my insurance, I bought it through the loan. So my lender picked one and I went with it, and I never really went over the policy. So I think it's important that you guys know what you're paying for, what your coverage is, and really, really review your policy.
A little thing of advice, if you want to call it, sometimes the best thing to do is even work with the insurance agent that you have your cars. So then most insurance company, they want to keep you, they know if they have your house, your cars. Let's say you have a business and you have a coverage for your business, they want to have as many lines of business that they can. So then you're going to get a pretty nice discount. So sometimes you'll be surprised, I mean, how much you can get for the same amount of money. Instead of having so many different insurance companies that you're dealing, you just deal with one.
With one, and get a better price, like a bundle package.
Correct. You ended up getting a bundle because you get 2 or 3 cars. Let's say you got a jet ski, or you got your home, and let's say you got so many lines of business. So, and then at the end, they're going to say, maybe you need an umbrella too. So that's something else. That's another thing that you need to talk to your agent. An extra policy, correct.
Okay, so now let me ask you, so can the insurance, let's say my clients bought a house and they have the insurance, can they cancel at any time whenever the insurance wants?
Well, you know what, you can actually, you have like a life of the insurance, you know, basically 1 year, but yes, you can cancel if you're going to transfer.
No, but can the insurance cancel you?
Can the insurance cancel? Yes, they can. If there's certain things sometimes, let's say you got trees hitting your house, or your shingles are not properly installed in your roof, or there's certain safety issues in your house, or maybe let's say the house, for some reason you decided to I don't know, do some remodeling, and you decided to go and move in with your parents for like a short time and leave the house vacant. And let's say somebody comes in and it happened that they go and inspect your property at the time that is vacant or these things are happening, yes, they can.
They can
They can
cancel
come
it.
back and say, you know what, there's certain things, or they can send you, some insurance company, they send you a letter and say, hey, you need to correct these things before we, and they give you
They give you some time too,
certain
so you
amount
can
of
fix
time
it.
so you can fix it, and they'll come back and they'll take pictures because that is going to go into their file.
Yeah.
So they want to make sure, like, let's say sometimes, let's say a tree is hitting your house and several trees are hitting your house. That's a hazard.
Fire hazard.
Fire hazard. Let's say something happened, and not only that, the tree may
fall on top of the
of the
house.
roof of the house.
Yeah,
Or
that's
let's say
true.
some of the shingles are loose, or they don't go all the way into the end. Well, that's a hazard because you might have a leak. So those are things that are like they're gonna look into it. Most of the insurance, they're not as picky, but they're gonna look for certain things.
So this happened to one of our clients a couple of months ago, and we had a problem with the shingles not going all the way to the end of the roof. I think there was like half an inch difference. So the inspector, we always do our inspection. So the inspector said, do you need this one for the names? Okay. Make sure you guys are making a comment so you can participate on the raffle, okay? So these clients got a credit. We got them a credit of $5,000 to repair some of the things that were wrong with the house. I never thought the insurance was going to cancel them. So after we closed escrow, they received their check in the mail and the cancellation of the insurance. Luckily, the bank put another insurance in the meantime because obviously the house has to be insured since there's a loan and the bank makes sure that there's an insurance on it. But it was more expensive. So now they're redoing the roof because they do have the money, so they're redoing the roof and it's going to be fixed. But those are things that could happen after. So if there's something the inspector said and you need to fix it, remember that you have to fix it, otherwise the insurance might cancel. Yes. Hi Charles. So Charles is here. I know we had to start because we start right at 4, and we have Jaime here that also does insurances, so we are going over the questions. So maybe we can get a chair for him, and then, so you want to scoot over this way?
Yes, Jaime? Absolutely.
So Charles is here, and just be careful, you want to lift it. And we're gonna have him join us.
Got the gear coming up.
You want to get as close as you can to the table. Nice meeting you.
Nice to meet you, Patty. Hi, Charles.
Charles, nice meeting you.
Charles, so we were going over some of the questions, and the show that we were doing, it was more for like homeowners that already have insurance.
Sure.
And so we're going over the things that could happen after they already bought their insurance and how it can get canceled and things that could happen. So we were going over how sometimes you get your insurance and then the insurance comes by, takes pictures, and they find something that it's not going to be covered. So then you just get your check in the mail, no insurance anymore, fix it or find another insurance. And then we were talking about that one of the things is if you have a pit bull, that's also...
Or animal restrictions.
Do you guys have animal restrictions?
Farmers does, most companies do. Most of it is the pit bull mixes will have restrictions as far as the bite goes. They don't have restrictions for your insurance to have insurance, but for the liability for the bite, if a pit bull would bite another person, then that is excluded. You can get it excluded, but it doesn't preclude you from having insurance.
Oh, okay, but you can still have it insured even though but just not that accident. You wouldn't cover that.
Just not the pit bull bite would not be covered, but everything else under the homeowners would be.
Okay, all right. Do you fit there?
Yes.
Okay.
I think so.
Sorry. Okay, so then one of the other questions that we were going over was what can they do to lower their insurance premium?
Okay, a lot of different things I recommend to lower premium is not reducing your coverage and not reducing your liability coverage. What I would recommend is that there are ways to lower your coverage in deductibles. So the higher your deductible, the lower your rate will be. Also, there's other ways. Most insurance companies, especially farmers, will give you discounts if you're a realtor, attorney, doctor, nurse, educator, firefighter. Make sure you tell your agent that if you have any licenses in the state or have any professional designations or advanced degrees, we offer discounts for that as well.
Okay, all
So
right.
multiple lines to make it.
Well, it's almost like a multiple line discount or auto discount.
Yeah.
and discount.
So then that's okay. So that's lowering your, I mean, increasing your deductible. How about getting alarms installed and making your home smart and?
We also have non-smoker discounts. If you have a gas shutoff valve, there's also a discount for that.
Okay.
Like if you install that on your meter, so if an earthquake comes, it shuts the gas off to your house. There's a discount for that. There's also a discount for non-smoker and for having a newer roof. So if you're purchasing a home with a new roof, you'll get a discount for that. Or if you're purchasing a home that maybe need the roof replaced, it's good to have that negotiated in the deal so that you'll get a discount for the new roof.
So what if I already have my insurance and I'm replacing my roof next year? Do I get a discount next year?
Yes, you'll get a discount. You just have to show the proof of the replacement, and then depending on what type of roof, you'll get a discount.
Right. Okay, that's good to know. Let's see what the other question is. So how will the location of the home I'm purchasing affect the availability and the cost of the insurance?
Okay, so there is something called fire line score in California. And what that means is based on the slope and access to brush, those two elements will increase the cost of your insurance.
So access to brush, what does that mean? Just so they can understand.
Sure.
More.
So if you're on a canyon and you're backed up to a canyon and it has full access to the backcountry,
Okay.
you're going to have a certain score. So if it's flat, you'll have a lower score. If it's elevated where the fire can come up and hit your home, you'll have more of a score. So it may be 9, 10, 15. And if you have those scores, your insurance will elevate or your ability to get insurance will go away.
Decrease.
So Farmers does allow you, if you're in an area that does not typically have fire coverage, we will write your primary insurance excluding lightning, explosion, and fire. And then we go to the FAIR plan by the state, and that's the way where we pull the fire coverage over to the homeowner. So you still have a homeowner's policy, a full homeowner's policy, but the fire coverage would come from the state of California.
Oh, instead of from you guys.
It's called a companion policy.
Yeah, because we like to sell those houses. You know, those have the best views, but
Exactly.
then.
Yeah, so the more access you have or the closer you are to slopes in the backcountry, the more your coverage is going to be. Okay, so and also what dictates the cost of your insurance is also the losses that that home would have or the losses that you currently have on your home.
So losses would be like claims, previous claims, or?
Previous claims within the last 3 years.
Okay.
So water is one of the most hazardous claims you can have today. Most carriers will not even write you if you have one water loss in the last 3 years on the home.
Like you mean like a flood from a toilet or?
A flood from a toilet, a pipe break, flood from a water heater breaking, any water damage to the house.
So it would be hard to get it insured after
Very
that.
hard to get it insured. Very hard.
Whoa, I didn't know that.
Now Farmers will offer a
Even
wide-
though it was fixed by an insurance already?
Yes.
Wow, okay.
So it's something very important that your buyer look at when they're looking for
Yeah, we
homes.
always go through the disclosures to make sure that if anything has happened.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so the next question. So that we went over already the issues that a home can have to not be insurable, the location. Okay, now what are the most important, that was one of your questions, what are the most important things to look for in your policy? Because we were talking before you got here about how this is the first time that I have a swimming pool, and I didn't know that my policy did not cover earthquakes. So any little earthquake could break the pool, and it wasn't going to be insured. So, and the price was so little. I was like, oh my God, if I had known, I would have bought it when I bought the house. So there's so many things that sometimes are not covered, but we don't know because we don't sell insurances. Until somebody else was trying to beat somebody else on my policy, and she pointed out everything that I didn't have and how I only had $1,500 per accident and things like that. I was like, oh wow, like it's all wrong. But it was basic and it covered it was what my lender required, so I was fine. But what are the most important things to look for in your policy?
Okay, there are a few critical things. First, like you mentioned, earthquake coverage is covered by the California Earthquake Authority through your agent. So every licensed agent can write a CEA policy, which is California Earthquake, on your home if the insured home is with that agent. Okay?
Okay.
So earthquake is one of the primary things that you need to have if you're in California.
Right.
Okay. In San Diego County, the price is a lot less expensive than it is in Orange County or Los Angeles, but I still recommend it. And most people ask me why, and the reason why is because if any tremor comes and the city red tags your house, you're never moving back in. So it's really for the catastrophe. It's not for the little tremor that cracks sheetrock, but it's for the big catastrophe.
Okay.
So earthquake is one. The second big one is flood insurance. So flood, any type of flood is not covered under a homeowner's policy. Now that doesn't include like if your pipe breaks in your house or water heater breaks and it floods, that's covered, but not a flood that comes from a natural disaster, like a dam breaking or a creek backing up. We've had a lot of rain, and it can happen.
Right.
So those are the two big ones. The other things that you mentioned are some agents sell stripped down policies that your mortgage company will allow you to have, but it's not good for you.
Right.
You always have to check a couple things. Jewelry is always limited to typically $1,500, and to get more coverage, you should schedule that jewelry. Another one is water damage. A lot of companies do not pay for water damage unless it's on the policy. So some policies you can get without water damage coverage. So you want to be careful with that. So a couple other smaller issues that you may want to look for is scheduled art, any kind of expensive pieces that you have. You want to make sure there's coverage for those as well.
Okay, so that's a lot of things to go over. If you guys have your policy handy, make sure you pull it out and go over those things. Also, a lot of the things that are not covered in the insurance policy are covered by the home warranty. I mean, we always get the home warranty for our clients. We try to get it from the seller, but if the seller doesn't want to pay it and the buyer doesn't want to pay it, we pay it. I want to make sure that
Always recommend the home warranty product.
So what are some of the things that the home warranty will cover but the insurance wouldn't cover?
Okay, so home warranty covers pipes that wear out and need to be replaced. Typically under an insurance policy, whatever causes the damage is not covered. So let's say your water heater would burst. All of the outlying areas damaged by the water are covered under insurance, but the water heater isn't covered because it's what burst. If you have a home warranty policy, it's going to pay for the water heater and the replacement, and then the insurance for the home covers the rest.
Wow, so it doesn't have
electrical issues, problems with stoves, air conditioning.